Most haunted objects are locked away. They're sealed behind glass, catalogued, blessed, contained. Letta is different. Letta isn't kept in one place, because the people responsible for him say something happens when he stays still too long. They say activity increases, sounds start, objects move, dreams change, and eventually, someone hears a voice. Always the same voice, always the same request. Let me out. This recording reconstructs the discovery of a doll investigators believe was never meant to be found. Letta was discovered during demolition work beneath an abandoned house in Australia. Workers were clearing debris from a collapsed foundation when they noticed something unusual buried inside the dirt below the floorboards. Not a box, not a container, just a bundle wrapped in cloth. When they opened it, they found a doll. Small, child-sized, made of fabric and human hair. Its face stitched carefully, its body worn with age, and its clothing decades out of date. One of the workers joked someone had hidden it there on purpose. Another said it looked like something that shouldn't be underground at all. But what disturbed them most wasn't the doll. It was the position it had been placed in, facing upward, toward the ceiling, toward the house above it, as if it had been waiting for someone to dig it out. At first, the doll had no name. It was simply catalogued as an object recovered during demolition. But the man who kept it overnight reported something unusual. He said he woke suddenly around 3 a.m. No sound, no movement, just a feeling someone else was inside the room. When he looked toward the chair where the doll had been placed, it wasn't there. He found it later beside the bedroom door, facing outward, toward the hallway. The next morning he told a friend what happened, and when he finished the story, he said the strangest sentence without meaning to. He said, "I think it was trying to get out." That was the first time anyone called it Letta, short for something else, something no one could explain. Let me out. The owner began documenting small changes, not dramatic ones, not impossible ones, just enough to notice. The doll would appear closer to doorways, closer to windows, closer to hallways, always facing outward, never deeper inside the room, never turned toward furniture, always toward exits. At first he assumed someone else in the house was moving it, but eventually he lived alone, and the changes continued. He began locking doors at night, placing Letta inside one room, closing the door carefully, checking the handle twice before going to sleep. Each morning, Letta was somewhere else, always closer to the front of the house. The scratches started quietly, small marks across the arms, thin lines across the chest, not deep enough to injure, just deep enough to notice. Doctors dismissed them, said they were accidental, said they happened during sleep. But the pattern repeated, always after nights when the doll had changed position. Always after nights the owner reported hearing movement in the hallway. Always after nights he said the house felt crowded, even though no one else was there. The voice didn't come immediately. At first it sounded like shifting fabric, then like breathing, then like whispering behind closed doors. Eventually, it sounded like words. The owner reported waking to something standing beside the bed, not visible, not moving, just present. He said he heard a sentence spoken near his shoulder. Soft, careful, close enough to feel. Don't leave me here. He stopped sleeping in the same room after that, but the voice followed him anyway. That was when the owner made a decision investigators later found unusual. He stopped keeping Letta in one place. Instead, he began traveling with him. Different houses, different towns, different buildings. And something strange happened. The activity slowed. The sounds stopped. The scratches disappeared. The dreams returned to normal. He later told researchers something that changed how the doll was handled permanently. He said Letta didn't want to stay still. He said movement kept things quiet. He said the longer the doll stayed somewhere, the worse things became. So from that moment forward, Letta never stayed anywhere long. People who met Letta described the same experience. Not fear, not panic. Recognition. They said the doll looked familiar, like someone they almost remembered. Some said his expression changed depending on where they stood. Others said photographs taken of him later looked different than what they remembered seeing in person. But the strangest reports came from people who stayed in the same room with Letta overnight. Several described waking at the exact same time, 3:13 in the morning, every time, every location, every building, as if something had followed the doll instead of the people following him. Investigators eventually asked a question no one wanted to answer. Why was Letta buried beneath a house in the first place? Someone placed him there deliberately. Someone wrapped him carefully. Someone positioned him facing upward. Someone left him waiting beneath the floor. There are only two reasons people bury objects like that: to hide them or to contain them. And no one has ever found out which one it was. Today, Letta still travels, still changes locations, still moves between homes, still avoids staying anywhere too long. And the people responsible for him continue following the same rule. Never leave him still. Never leave him alone. Never leave him somewhere he can't leave. Because every time someone tried, the same sentence returned. Soft, careful, close enough to hear in the dark. Let me out. So the question isn't whether Letta is haunted. The question is whether someone buried him once because he already got out before. If someone handed Letta to you tonight, would you keep him? Or would you make sure he never stayed in your house long enough to ask again? Tell me below, and subscribe to Fright Screams, because some objects don't follow people home. Some of them were already waiting there first.